Thank you for watching our 2021 Salute to Veterans virtual event. We appreciate your help in showing our support to the veterans of La Vista, Sarpy County, the Greater Omaha area, and the United States. Their sacrifice to our country truly allows us and many around the world the freedoms and opportunities to grow strong families and strong communities.
Hello and welcome. My name is Neil Kraus, Vice President and Market Manager of Access Bank. I also have the privilege of serving as the Chairman of the Board for the Vista Community Foundation. On behalf of the Foundation Board of Directors and the many volunteers, I would like to welcome you to the 2021 Salute to Veterans event. I would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors and many volunteers that took part in putting this event together. I would also like to thank the veterans that are joining us virtually for their years of sacrifice and dedication to making this country great and what it is today. I hope you enjoy this year's event, and I look forward to hosting all of you in 2022 as we hopefully bring this event back to an in-person. Thank you for all that you have done, and thank you for your service to our great country. God bless our veterans, and God bless the United States of America.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The POW MIA, or Missing Man Table. The POW MIA Missing Man Table ceremony is a dignified and solemn moment in many formal dinners and other occasions. There have been many different narratives written for the ceremony, but the symbolism was quite constant. It involves a table, usually set off to the side, with a single chair. The table is set with a white tablecloth, a single candle, a book of faith, an inverted glass, and a single red rose in a vase, around which is tied a yellow ribbon. Set at the table is a plate containing a slice of lemon and a small amount of salt. There is nothing more poignant than witnessing the empty chair sitting at a POW MIA table with incredible significance for every displaced feature of this ritual. Witnessing the ceremony that accompanies this memorable event brings more than just a single emotion. The ceremony is performed many times throughout the year, at official military events in remembrance and in honor of all POW and MIAs. I would now like to explain the meaning of the items on this special table. A slice of lemon reminds us of their bitter fate, captured or missing in a foreign land. A pinch of salt symbolizes the tears of our missing and their families. The lighted candle reflects our hope for their return. The bound text is a book of faith to represent the strength gained through devotion to sustain those lost from our country. The glasses are inverted to symbolize their inability to share a toast. The chair is empty. They are missing. Moment of silence. Let us now raise our glasses of water in a toast to honor America's POW MIAs, to the success of our efforts to account for them, and to the safety of all now serving our nation.
Good morning. I'm Major General Retired Al Batschelet. I'm the CEO of the First Responders Foundation based in Omaha, and I'm pleased this morning to be with you and to have this opportunity to collectively share, honor, and respect our veterans. I want to make a special thank you to those who put today's program together. We all know these things take a lot of time and energy to coordinate and to schedule, and we're grateful for those that have made this event happen today. Without them, we wouldn't be here, so we very much appreciate their efforts. You know, across the country today, in the thousands of towns like ours, millions of us are coming together in groups, large and small, for Veterans Day. And as a country, we've been recognizing Veterans Day since 1919 in one form or another. And Veterans Day is the one day of the year when we pause to take the opportunity to honor and show our respect for the service and sacrifice of others. It's a day to remember the exceptionalism of America and those who served to maintain our exceptionalism. You know, there are, by most counts, over 18 million living veterans, and interestingly, 9% are women, and 3 million are counted in the roles of those who have served in the global war on terrorism over the last 2 decades. And you know, of the 16 million Americans who served during World War II, only about 300,000 are still living. And so it's important for us to take opportunities to thank those veterans while they're here among us. And we're going to talk about why a little bit more here in my remarks. So we take time today to honor veterans because traditions represent a critical piece of our culture. Veterans help form the structure and the foundation of our families, our values, and our way of life. And they remind us that we are part of a long history, you know, a legacy of sacrifice made by those who have come and gone before us, and you know, whose lives, example, and sacrifices defined their time and our past while shaping who we are today and candidly who we will become. We ignore passing on our traditions at our peril and the peril of future generations who look to us for their example as our values and our way of life are only one generation away from failure. Those who served, led, and lead colorful, rich, and passionate lives right here among us are those who we honor today. And you know, when they went off to serve, they took with them the lessons they learned and the values and the faith instilled and the education provided by this community, a community which then and now places a premium on freedom, faith, family, and a willingness to pull together, to help one another, to make our community a better place to live and work and worship. And as they left our community to serve, they took with them all the best of what our community had to offer. And yet each brought unique skills and talents to service and joined others from around our great country and other walks of life to come together to set aside their differences and unite in a common cause and with a reluctant willingness to sacrifice as they've been asked to do by their country. You might ask, and you'd be right to do so, what do veterans, you know, those who serve, share, what do they have in common? What unites them? What motivates them? Well, for me, I believe it is the love and respect for their country and their families that they learned in the towns and communities like ours, and the understanding that they learned in communities like ours that continuing sacrifice is needed to protect our freedoms, our democracy, and our common safety. Their values that became deeply ingrained formed them as people of character with a deep sense of duty. And there was nothing veterans wouldn't do to defend the ideals and values of our country and those they cared for back home. And they served with the passion and innocence of youth. And we do well to remember it's the young who do the fighting and dying when peace fails and war begins. Each of us honors veterans and former comrades in arms in our own way. And I remember by carrying with me for over 30 years now the dog tag of PFC Roger Valentine. He's a forever young man from Texas who died at the age of 20 on March 2nd, 1991, while serving under my command in Desert Storm. Butch, as we called him, left a community that formed him and was among those who answered the call when they heard the country cry, "Whom shall I send and who will go for us?" And he was one of the many brave young men who answered, "Here am I, send me." I suggest we owe them something. We owe them a solemn vow that we will not forget those who gave their youth and delayed their hopes and dreams for us. And yet, not forgetting their sacrifice is not enough. We must always remember that peace is fragile, and the maintenance of peace, our values, and our way of life requires us to constantly stand watch, ever ready to act and sacrifice without thought to personal loss. We owe them a promise to ensure their sacrifice was not in vain, that we will remain steadfast and loyal to their example, and that we, in remembering their sacrifices, will do our best to ensure that future generations are ready and willing to meet the challenges our country faces with the same courage and strength as those veterans who have gone before. And as I close, and one final reminder of the importance of what we do here today, I offer a quote from President George Washington right after the country was newly formed, a quote which I suspect some of you may have heard before, but I think it bears repeating. And I quote from President Washington, "The willingness with which our young people are likely to serve in any war, no matter how justified, shall be directly proportional to how they perceive the veterans of earlier wars were treated and appreciated by our nation." Through your attention today, you are honoring not only our veterans, but you can take pride in knowing you are answering President George Washington's challenge to ensure the future of our country by showing your appreciation and respect for veterans. Thank you for your support to veterans and their families and for taking time to join with us today to honor them and those who have served. Thank you.
I've always just wanted to be part of something bigger, I wanted my life to have purpose. And that's not to say people who choose a different path in their lives don't have purpose. It's just for me, having purpose in my life was giving my life to something else. And that's how I wanted to live.
Being in the military it's a different world. You know, we share experiences that no one else does. Even our day-to-day life is just different. You know, the things that we were required to do is different. And it was neat because someone had to do it. Someone has to do it, you know. I totally understand why we have the military and why we have, you know, why we go and do these certain operations. And I completely agree with it. I completely agree with what we're doing, you know, throughout the world with democracy. And so, you know, I wholeheartedly believe in it. So being a veteran is like doing my part to, you know, help the world.
It's a whole nother family, a brother and sisterhood that if you haven't been in the military, you just don't quite seem to grasp or understand. People you can depend on, friends all over the world who are pretty much your family.
As I get older, Veterans Day, I just think about veterans in general, but I also think a lot about the family members. My mom, my wife, they give a lot more than people give them credit for. So I think a lot about the families that don't have their loved ones anymore. So it's a day of mainly a day of reflection.
because we live in such a fast-paced and busy society, we all have things going and something going on all the time. And I think it's a day that you say, hey, it's Veterans Day. What does that really mean? And I think it's a time just to reflect on what this country wouldn't be what it is without the military. And I think that's, we need a day for people to stop this busy, fast-paced life and, give thanks to those who make us who we are today, and hopefully for the future, for future generations, that this country will still be here.
It's a great day to just recognize and thank our veterans who are still here, who have sacrificed a lot, their families that have also sacrificed a lot.
From one vet to all the others out there, I just wanted to say thank you to each and every single one of you.
Thanks to all the veterans, fellow veterans, men and women, those who are at the academies, the military academies, thank you. Thank you for the family members. And thanks to just everybody who supports anything to do with veterans and military.
Thank you to all of my veterans, past, present, and future.
Thank you to all my brothers and sisters who joined the military, who are sacrificing their time, their days, time spent away from home, away from family. I thank you and I salute you all.
Everyone that served, anyone that's looking to serve, thank you. You're appreciated. Your sacrifice is known to all of us. For those of us that have been there, for those of us that haven't, we know what you've done. We know what you're doing, and thank you.
We hope you enjoy this year's virtual event and look forward to hopefully hosting all of you in person in 2022. Until then, thank you to all our veterans. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.